What's up everybody? Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video, working on a 07 Chevy Avalanche. The customer stating that he's driving along, traction lights on, engine got a misfire, and the steering wheel's stiff. So let's hop in this car and let's check it out. All right, let's start it up and see what we got. All right, there's your check engine light. And I can definitely feel a misfire. That might be just a coil pack. And there's your traction control light. Take this thing for a ride. Let's see what's going on. I'm trying to feel the stiffness of the steering wheel. Let's jump the curb here. Boom. Do some off-roading. It's got a hard shift to it too, I feel that. So let's see. Steering wheel doesn't feel too bad, it's a little stiff. But we definitely got a misfire. I can actually hear it backfiring through the intake. And it's shifting, it's got a hard shift on it. I don't want to take this thing too far. It feels like the daggone full drive is on. I don't want to drive this thing too far. I don't want to take a chance of it breaking down. So let's go ahead and get it in the shop. Let's get the scanner on it. Let's get some codes pulled. The OBD2 connector is located. This is your brake pedal. It's right above the brake pedal. We're gonna plug the scanner in. One of the first things I look for after I plug the scanner in, there's a little green light underneath here and I make sure it's lit up. That tells me that there is 12 volts going through that connector into my scanner, because without that, it wouldn't work correctly. And now we got the scanner powered up. All right, so let's go ahead and select the vehicle. There should be auto detection on this, so let's see if it works. All right, we have an 07 Avalanche. It's not giving the odometer. Normally that pops up. So let's start and see what kind of code we have in the engines. Code menu, display code, diagnosing trouble code. Engine misfire detected, P0300. All right, the first code is a P0300, engine misfire detected. So I'm gonna print that so I have it for future reference. I'm gonna go into the transmission real quick because it was shifting really funny. See if there's any codes in that transmission. No codes there. Let me start it up, see what comes on. So after I started the car, the traction code popped up and the check engine light's blinking. Let's go back and look at the engine again. Let's check the code menu out. Still have the engine misfire. It is possible that the misfire code is causing an engine to shift funny. Let me look at one more place. Let's go look at the anti-lock brake system. Let's just make sure there's no codes in there. In the anti-lock brake area, there's a C0561. The system disabled information stored invalid serial data. So let's go back into engines. Let's look at data display. Let's look at misfire data. Let's see what cylinder is misfiring. I think the first thing we need to do is get rid of the misfire, and I think that's going to cure everything. It looks like number 1 cylinder is misfiring quite a bit. We had a very small cycle of misfires in number 8. So let's see as I increase RPMs. Number 1 is going to be the problem child, it looks like. All right, next thing we're going to do is pop that hood. Let's do a visual on the coil. Make sure it's not cracked or messed up, the wire didn't come off. And then I want to pull it, check the coil, and we'll check the plugs. So looking at it, that's your number 1 cylinder. That's the driver's side, very front one. I don't see anything broken or cracked. I do see a lot of dirt on this one here. And it looks like this one might be a newer one because it's a different color. So let me show you what I always do next. I take a test light and I hook it to a good ground. Then I start the car, and after I start the car, I take the test light and I pass it all around here. And that's checking for cracks, because if there's a crack in the coil, it'll come up through that crack and arc on this test light. You can actually see the engine jumping up and down. This definitely got a miss. Nothing. So now I'm going to pull the plug wire off. If you do this at home, you got to be really careful because you could get shocked. Now watch this. See that arc? I know that's a good fire. Whenever you hold your test light like this, that arc should come out about 1.5 to 2 inches, and it does. So go ahead and put this back on. Next step, cut the car off. Let's pull that plug out. So if you look right here at this plug, it's oil fouled right down the side here. After pulling the plug out, you can see it's oil fouled. I'm gonna call the customer and see when the last time it was he replaced the plugs. And I'm gonna recommend a set of plugs to start with. Something tells me I should go ahead and run a compression just to cover all the bases. So I pulled a schematic and I located the fuel pump relay, which is right here. I'll pull that out. I'm gonna start the car and it should run for just a few minutes, then cut off. All right, so it cut off on its own. The noise you were hearing was the plug was out. All right, let's go ahead and get the gauge in there. Like I said, I'm thinking it's just gonna be a bad plug, but you know, I'm right here at it. Let's just play it safe. I'm gonna crank it. You guys watch the gauge. Let's see what it does. So that's not good. 0 pounds of compression. Not good. So I got someone else in the car. I'm gonna have them crank it. All right, crank it. Oh, 25 pounds. I'm gonna pull it off here. You can feel it right here. Crank it. Oh, nothing. You know what, let me check another cylinder. If you do a comparison of the plug, look at that one. There's no oil on that at all. So I got a feeling this cylinder is going to have good compression. We'll see what happens. Or at least better than 25 pounds. Go ahead. So we are up to 150 plus pounds. So that pretty much confirms it. We got a dead cylinder. I'm gonna go ahead and call the customer and see what he wants to do. But I do need to let him know that I'm 30 days out before I can even get an engine job in the front door. That is it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.